How can I improve my listening skills? That's a question we get asked a lot, especially from students who are not living in an English-speaking country. Today we've got some tips and advice for you on how you can improve your listening comprehension in English. So keep watching. If you're not living in a country where English is spoken around you, like the UK or the US, it is difficult to improve your listening comprehension. So what can you do? Well, the answer is quite simple. You need to listen to as much English as possible and also from different sources. Of course, you can listen to the news in English. You've got channels like the BBC, CNN, VOA, the Voice of America. All of those places are great for listening to the news. And the VOA, the Voice of America, they also have news in easy English. And the BBC also have access to help when you're listening to the news if you can't understand everything that's being said. But if you're like me, you might find the news a bit depressing. So why not listen to podcasts? You can listen to podcasts in English about almost anything. So what do you enjoy doing? What hobbies do you have? If you like travel, films, gardening, photography, technology, fashion, anything you like, just go to Google and type in fashion podcast or photography podcast, and you'll find a podcast in English that you can listen to and enjoy. Songs as well are a great way to improve your listening. Go to YouTube. Many songs have the lyrics at the bottom of the screen, so you can listen and read, understand the song, and then next time you hear it, you'll know what they're singing in English. And of course, sing along with the songs like a karaoke. You're also practicing your rhythm, your speaking, your pace in English when you sing along with your favorite songs. Audiobooks. Maybe you don't have time to read. Maybe you like to listen in the gym when you're doing exercise or walking the dog. That's great for podcasts, but it's also very good to listen to audiobooks in English. Maybe you've read a book in your language that you really enjoy. Why not listen to it in English also? That will improve your listening skills. And of course, TV series, films, and YouTube. If you enjoy watching movies and films, you can very often change to original versions. So don't watch it in Spanish or whatever your language is. Change the language to English. Or maybe watch it once in Spanish and then a second time in English so that you get to know the voice of the famous actors, and I think you'll enjoy hearing how they speak English. Don't forget that YouTube also has closed captions. They're not always accurate, but you can turn on the CC closed captions and read the English text at the bottom of the screen. TED Talks are quite formal but short presentations in English about many different topics. If you have a higher level, good B2 or definitely C1 and C2 level, I suggest trying to listen to a few TED Talks. You can find the website at ted.com/talks, and they are also on YouTube. Are you a gamer? Do you enjoy playing video games? That's another way to improve your English. Go to a website like Twitch, for example, twitch.tv, and listen to people commenting in English while they're playing their and hopefully your favorite game. So if you do like gaming and computer games, video games, that's a great way to be listening to English and also doing something that you enjoy. Multitask with your mobile phone. If you're very busy and you don't have time to sit and study English, you can use your mobile phone to listen to anything that's on the internet while you're doing something else. So when you're walking the dog, when you're at the gym, on the bus, driving, whatever you're doing, Make sure you're listening to English and make the best use of your time. If you need recommendations of what to listen to, our podcast is at inglespodcast.com, or you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. And also on the Mansión Inglés website, we have a huge selection of listening activities at different levels. So go to mansioningles.com and you'll be able to listen to different levels of English. And very often we have exercises that go together with the listening so that you can improve your comprehension. I suggest you listen to slightly above your English level. So maybe it's a little bit difficult for you, but it's better to be a little bit difficult than too easy. Also, many audio players on your mobile phone and on your computer or tablet have a function that can slow down the audio a little. So if you do enjoy a podcast, but maybe it's a bit too difficult, you can slow it down a little to make sure you catch more of what they're saying. And that's also available on YouTube, so you can adjust the playback speed to make sure that you're understanding what you're listening to, and when you feel more confident, speed it up. Also, listen more than once, especially if you really like the content, what you're listening to. Most exams give you twice 2 listening opportunities, so why not listen to your content at least twice, especially if you're preparing for an exam. Many podcasts these days also come with transcripts, so you can read the text at the same time that you're listening. That's also true of the exercises on our webpage, so you can listen and focus in on how English is pronounced. Listen for those weak forms, listen for connected speech, listen for words that are stressed, words that are not stressed. So focusing on the transcript will really help you notice how English is pronounced, and it's not the same sometimes as you see it written on the page. Maybe you use voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, Cortana, Google Voice. Well, you're probably using them in your language. Why not change it to English? And if the device cannot understand everything you say, you need to improve your pronunciation. That's a great way to speak clearly and to speak a little more like a native speaker. And you can also have conversations with these electronic devices in English. So if you have that function and it's in most mobile phones these days, why not take advantage of it, change it to English and start speaking to your phone? And don't get frustrated. It's very likely that you're not going to understand every word you hear. Don't worry. It's very similar to reading. You might read a text and there may be some words you don't know, but very often you can guess the word from the context, from the words around it. So when you're listening to English, it may be a little difficult. Just let the language wash over you and try to understand the general message in the audio. Listen for particular phrases and chunks. In Spanish, that's trozos of English, so that you can understand pieces and not necessarily every single word. And finally, this is where you really need to be very proactive. Go and find a meetup of people perhaps in your area. Go to meetup.com. That's a good website to find any group of people in your area who are meeting to practice their English. Or maybe it's a language exchange where if you're in a Spanish-speaking country, you can help someone improve their Spanish, and in return, they help you practice your English. With the coronavirus pandemic, that might not be possible, so you have to move it online. Look for Facebook groups or any group or community on the internet that you can join and meet on Zoom or Skype or something similar to practice your English a few times a week and get those listening skills really, really sharp. If you can't find a group, you need to start one. So be proactive, go out there and find people to practice with. And speaking of multitasking with your mobile phone, we do have audio courses for sale on the website at store.mansioningles.net. There are 4 levels at the moment of audio courses, and they go from the very beginning, from A1 level up to B2. And if you're interested, go to the website for more information. There's a special promotional price at the moment, and you can save €11 if you buy all of those levels together. So keep on practicing, keep listening, and most of all, be proactive with your listening, and it will improve over time.